If you want to experience the absolute worst traffic on the planet, you don't go to Los Angeles or Beijing, you go to Metro Manila. Within this sprawling metropolitan area of over 14 million people, the average commuter loses hundreds of hours each year just staring at the bumper in front of them. The economic devastation is staggering. The Japan International Cooperation Agency, JICA, estimates this city bleeds 3.5 billion Philippine pesos every single day in wasted fuel and lost productivity. If left unchecked, that number will soar to an astronomical 5.4 billion pesos daily by 2035. According to the 2023 TomTom Traffic Index, out of 387 global cities, Metro Manila ranks dead last. Number 1 in global gridlock. It takes an average of 25.5 minutes to drive just 10 kilometers. An average driver here spends 117 hours a year completely stationary. That's enough time to read 48 books, just sitting in your car. The simplest explanation you'll hear is a basic imbalance of supply and demand. The Philippines sold nearly 500,000 new vehicles in 2024. EDSA, the city's main artery, was designed to handle 300,000 cars a day. Today, it chokes on over 400,000. In total, the metropolis is trying to force 3.6 million vehicles into a tiny road network of just 5,000 kilometers. But blaming this entirely on an overabundance of cars misses the much more fascinating picture. The real reason Manila's traffic presents an unsolvable equation is that the city's physical geometry is fundamentally broken. To understand why pouring more concrete won't save Manila, you have to look at how the city is actually built. The foundational prerequisite of a functioning urban environment is connectivity. Cities like New York or Tokyo rely on a highly connected grid. The mathematical advantage of a grid is redundancy. If one avenue is blocked, traffic pressure organically diffuses through dozens of parallel streets, much like water flowing through a highly porous sponge. Metro Manila doesn't have a continuous grid. Instead, it relies on a heavily constrained arterial system. Historically, this wasn't the plan. American urban planner Daniel Burnham drafted a comprehensive grid and boulevard system in 1905, but the brutal urban warfare of World War II virtually erased it. The city was rebuilt haphazardly, prioritizing immediate economic recovery over macro-level urban planning. Today, Manila relies on a semi-web-like network of circumferential and radial roads, but the system is fractured by what urban planners call missing links. Critical highways physically break off, missing the vital sections needed to complete their loops. Circumferential Road 3 physically misses a massive section connecting Quezon City to Makati. Circumferential Road 5 literally breaks at an expressway and randomly restarts. Because there is a catastrophic lack of secondary connecting roads, millions of vehicles are violently funneled directly onto these few, incomplete highways. It's the geometric equivalent of designing a massive skyscraper, but forcing all 10,000 employees to use a single narrow hallway to reach their desks. So, if the highways are failing, why doesn't the government just build more parallel secondary roads? The answer isn't a lack of concrete, it's walls. A defining feature of Metro Manila's geography is the overwhelming presence of massive, exclusive gated communities, known locally as villages or subdivisions. Spatial analysis shows that these gated enclaves occupy roughly 20% of the total land area in Metro Manila. In the post-World War II era, the government largely left urban development to the free market. Private developers bought up massive tracts of land, creating hyper-exclusive communities like Forbes Park, often dubbed the Beverly Hills of Manila. These gated communities aren't just a few houses, they are vast. Some match the geographic footprint of entire small towns, and crucially, they are legally protected private domains. Non-residents cannot drive through them without leaving IDs with armed guards. Because public roads are legally prohibited from piercing these private estates, these villages act as impenetrable concrete dams. If a commuter needs to travel a short distance, but a 250-hectare gated village sits in their path, they are forced to navigate kilometers out of their way, ultimately dumping their car back onto failing highways like EDSA. Urban planners have begged to selectively open these gates for alternative traffic routing. But these proposals are consistently crushed by elite residents who prioritize security and exclusivity over metropolitan mobility. The city is literally strangled by its own premium real estate. But the fragmentation isn't just physical, it's deeply political. Metro Manila isn't governed as a single, cohesive unit. It is a political patchwork of 17 distinct local government units, which are further pulverized into hundreds of micro-governments called barangays. The city of Manila alone is subdivided into 897 distinct barangays. Each operates under its own elected captain with its own localized rules and controls its own microgeography. And this extreme decentralization routinely ruins macro-level traffic plans. When the national government designates alternate secondary routes to help motorists bypass congested highways, there's a catch. These routes often cut directly through residential barangays. Local residents absolutely hate the sudden influx of outside traffic, noise, and pollution. So, what do? They arbitrarily erect boom gates. They implement localized parking ordinances. They allow makeshift structures, sometimes even entire barangay halls, to be built directly on the road, effectively severing the fragile alternate network. The national government plays a perpetual game of cat and mouse, deploying special ops groups to physically dismantle illegal structures and tow cars, often facing fierce local hostility. But the structural incentive remains. Barangay captains are elected to protect the immediate interests of their specific neighborhood, not the macro-mobility of the metropolis. Manila is locked in a bitter war of attrition against 1,000 micro-governments. Unable to punch through the walled subdivisions or bypass the barricaded barangays, the national government resorted to the only direction left, up. Billions of dollars have been poured into elevated expressways designed to fly directly over the gridlock. The crown jewel is the Skyway Stage 3, an 18-kilometer elevated tollway. When it opened, it was heralded as the ultimate cure, cutting a 2-hour commute down to 20 minutes. But the triumph was mathematically doomed to fail, thanks to two interconnected concepts: induced demand and Brace's paradox. In urban economics, induced demand dictates that increasing highway capacity simply encourages more people to drive. The fast new route incentivizes commuters who used to take the bus or avoid peak hours to buy cars and hit the road. Very quickly, the new highway fills up to the exact same congestion level that existed before it was built. Worse, a mathematical concept called Brace's paradox proves that adding a new shortcut to a network can actually increase total travel time for everyone. Because drivers act selfishly to minimize their own commute, everyone rushes to the new shortcut. In Manila, drivers overutilize the Skyway, creating massive bottlenecks at the exit points where the elevated highway forcefully dumps cars back into the narrow, unexpanded local roads below. Compounding this mathematical failure is the cost. Because these tolls are largely unaffordable for the average Filipino motorist grappling with high fuel prices, the Skyway effectively functions as a fast lane for the wealthy elite. The vast majority of the population remains trapped in the chaotic, slow-moving bus and jeepney lanes on the ground. It proves a vital point. You cannot toll your way out of a geometric crisis. Metro Manila is the profound architectural consequence of a city that prioritized private security, exclusive real estate, and localized micropolitics over holistic urban planning and public mobility.